little bit more about what a living security playbook actually looks like, and in terms of how AI keeps evolving in real time?
I think the living element picks up on something I spoke about a few minutes ago, which is this idea that AI can be monitoring at a rate and a breadth and a depth that's not possible for people to do. So think about your supply chain and that 20 or 88,000 supplier network, where you're trying to understand how are things changing in that set of interactions with my company, my first party, and how do they impact my business continuity and disaster recovery plan? How do they operate my broader operational resilience playbooks? Well, that's the sort of thing where the monitoring part and then the application of that contextual intelligence to say, okay, something with this fourth party that's a shared supplier of these three critical suppliers has changed. There's some indication that they just had an incident or their service is down. What does that mean for me? Well, the models can run that analysis and the simulation at a speed and depth of detail that's very, very hard for people to create and can't be replicated at the pace that the models can. So what that dynamic process can do is sort of give you an always up-to-date security playbook at a very deep level with various options for when a certain event arises. Well, we've actually gamed that out, and this is what you should go and do immediately. Here are your next two options. Think about the trade-offs in this way. And it really takes the idea of a playbook from a PDF document that maybe you have a session on once a year or at best once a quarter, to something that's genuinely always up to date based on the best available information about the set of inputs that are relevant to that security issue.
Yeah, and I think what that looks like in practice is I think you can orchestrate it in many different ways, right? I think traditionally you would have sort of either human can look at that output and say, here's the tree of various situations that we've generated that could lead to certain outcomes, right?